It's been exactly 30 days since the launch of the OnePlus 13 and my colleague Tanishq has been driving this phone as his daily. You can tell that by looking at the wallpapers that he has. Of course, it's one piece and the kind of gacha games that he's got all installed. You anime nerds, I tell you. Truth be told, I've never gotten into anime, but it seems like a lot of fun. So what would be the first suggestion from you guys? Let me know in the comments. While you guys do that, I'll get on with this detailed 30-day review of the OnePlus 13. Stay tuned till the end because there are a lot of fun things that I'm going to talk about. Interesting, good, bad, all of it. Alright, if you're here for the first time, I'm Ershad. You're watching Track and Tech English, your destination for detailed, incisive gadget reviews. Now for the big chunk of my review when I did it initially, I was using the phone with the Aramid case, which I kind of like, but Tanishq was using without it for a few days because after that he had to switch to the Aramid case. There are a couple of reasons for it. The first reason is that the sides are glossy and they're a bit of a fingerprint magnet, so you'd want to use it with a case. And the second reason, well, for that you'll have to wait. I will tell you that really soon. By the way, we also dropped the phone a couple of times and we do have a tiny little dent here to show for it. But yeah, besides that, it's held up really well. In fact, I really like the vegan leather texture and the feel of it. Even now, it is the most premium vegan leather texture that we've used on a phone till date. Also, I see the texture cracking a bit, so it's getting that leather look, which I absolutely love, by the way. Now, as you can tell, I do like the design of the phone, including the vegan leather texture and the way it looks and the asymmetric camera module, which a lot of people don't seem to be fans of, including Tanishq. But I like it, man. I don't know. I have to tell you guys that. Your mileage could vary, but that's how design is. It's very subjective. Another reason why I like the design of the phone is the functionality aspect of it. Now, because it uses silicon carbon technology for the battery itself, it's denser. The batteries are denser now, and therefore the phones are slimmer as well. So you can fit in a larger capacity battery inside a very slim and light phone. So the in-hand feel is definitely much better now. Another thing that we notice is that the alert slider on the OnePlus 13 is actually more premium feeling than the one on the Find X8, which also, by the way, has an alert slider and is around the same price class. Apart from that, you also do get IP69 rating, and the Type-C port at the bottom is Type-C Gen 3.2. So all of the flagship related build quality things, all of that you get with the OnePlus 13, no problem there. Alright, now before I move on, I really must tell you guys, please hit that subscribe button. So many lakhs of you watch our videos but don't subscribe. Yeah, go ahead, if you like our video, subscribe. Now talking about the display is a micro quad curved panel now, and it's a larger 6.82-inch display with 2K resolution, 120Hz refresh rate, and of course it's AMOLED. It's got fantastic color tuning, by the way. You get Dolby Vision support on Netflix and you get HDR support on YouTube as well. But more importantly, it's also a very bright display outdoors. Of course, if it had the S25 Ultra's anti-reflective coating, it would have been better. But still, this is a very good display for the price. One of the things I noticed on Twitter recently was a few tech nerds were fighting about the fact that the S25 Ultra's display is 8-bit and it's not 10-bit, but OnePlus's display has a red color. Well, honestly, the OnePlus 13's display in that photo definitely looks like it's in vivid profile, because generally there is no problem with the color temperature tuning either. This is a very well calibrated display. And one of the things that we noticed in the 30 days is that it doesn't use Corning Gorilla Glass Victus for protection, but it uses its own ceramic guard, right? This solution seems to be better in our opinion, because in the 1 month that we've used it and dropped the phone a couple of times, it of course hasn't shattered, which is nice, but more importantly, it hasn't scratched up much either. So even the scratch resistance has been improved, which is very good. Of course, you get an ultrasonic in-display fingerprint scanner, which is the best kind of fingerprint scanner, right? So it's very fast to unlock, that's not a problem, but you also get wet touch protection, which means that even if your fingers are wet and if it's raining in Pune, then that shouldn't be a problem. So it's like the best kind of solution that you get with the display. And also best on the display is definitely the haptic feedback or the vibration motor. It's been tuned so beautifully, it's very well done, and it continues to be fantastic. There's no problem with the performance that we noticed in the 1 month of usage. Now the OnePlus 13 also has a pair of speakers which work in stereo setup, and initially when we tested it, of course it doesn't have Dolby Atmos, but even OnePlus's very own solution was pretty good, so we didn't have a problem with it per se. But with the latest Oxygen OS update, you should see that on your screen right now, the holo audio tech that is there seems to have gotten slightly worse. I mean, I'm not so sure about it, it could also be just placebo, but a lot of community members are also reporting the same. Apparently the sound is slightly muffled, especially at lower volume levels. So this is something I hope that OnePlus can fix with an update. And the good thing about the OnePlus 13 is that it supports all of the high-res Bluetooth codecs that we love and use every day, like LDAC, LHDC, all of that. Now, the Snapdragon 8 Elite inside the OnePlus 13 actually has pretty decent tuning, something that I kinda like, and it continues to be the same things that I experienced with the phone the first time around. It's very good at power efficiency. I'd say very good, not excellent, because the Vivo X200 Pro continues to be the best performing battery life on a flagship phone that we've tested till date, and that one has a Dimensity 9400. Now, with the OnePlus 13, what we are consistently getting is 7.5 hours of screen on time on heavy usage and up to 8.5 hours with moderate usage. Of course, you can get better battery life by dropping the resolution down to Full HD Plus instead of 2K, but why would you want to do that? You've paid full money for the phone, might as well get full resolution for it. Now, I did see a lot of OnePlus 13 community members complaining about the fact that their battery life hasn't been great, but we are definitely not facing that problem, at least in our usage. You also do get support for 100 watt fast wired charging, so it charges very fast. And one of the main reasons why we use this Aramid case, or why Tanishq is using the Aramid case, is because we actually got the AirVook charger along with it. OnePlus sent it to us, and it's got 50 watt fast wireless charging, and it doesn't get hot either because the heat gets dissipated by the fan that's inside this thing. Yeah, so why not make use of this case? Because it adds magnets and you can attach this. And I think that the money that you can save instead of buying an Oppo Find X8 Pro or a Vivo X200 Pro or a Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra and buying the OnePlus 13, you can actually spend that on something like this instead, right? Another advantage of having this AirVook charger attaching magnetically is the fact that the wire gets attached here, and if you're playing games, which Tanishq does a lot on this phone, then you can hold it like this and use it without having to worry about the cable, troubling you from being inserted on this side. See, talking about performance of the Snapdragon 8 Elite, we don't see any difference or change in performance. The CPU continues to throttle a lot in performance mode, but in normal mode, it's fine. The GPU is very powerful, one of the best 3D Mark Wildlife stress test scores that we've got. And for gaming, it's actually very well tuned. You can expect 60 FPS on both Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact after 30 minutes of gaming. And it doesn't get hot really fast because there's like a massive vapor cooling chamber inside and the heat gets dissipated really well. Now, before talking about our camera experience, I'd like to say that the call quality on the OnePlus 13 has been surprisingly very good. Mobile data also works exceptionally well on 5G on Jio and Airtel, but we are not experiencing any 5.5G anywhere, so really cannot test it honestly. Any OnePlus 13 users who are watching this video have experienced 5.5G speeds yet? Apparently you get a theoretical 1000 Mbps. I'm sure that's all bullshit. You're not going to get that. Of course, you also do get support for Wi-Fi 7, which is something that we don't use often in our daily lives because Wi-Fi 7 routers are not easy to come by. But yes, Wi-Fi 6 is something that we use and it works absolutely well. Bluetooth 5.4, NFC, everything's there. So tap to pay is also possible. Now, one thing that I felt definitely upgraded on the OnePlus 13 is the camera performance compared to the OnePlus 12. The kind of pictures that we're getting from it are immediately social media ready and they do look very good. So the hardware is performing well and the Snapdragon 8 Elite ISP is also helping it out. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of the camera testing because we've already done that. So if you haven't watched that video yet, go check it out. But anyway, let me tell you a few things that we noticed, right? So the primary camera continues to take a good amount of detail both in daylight and low light, but it's definitely taking pictures that are very poppy in terms of colors. It's not exactly natural colors that the Hasselblad tuning is taking. But one thing that I still continue to love is that the shutter speed is incredibly fast and the phone also takes really fast pictures, so you can capture motion. The HDR, while it's very well tuned, I feel that in very difficult situations, the HDR sort of fails, especially with the bloom problem that we noticed. And I've already reported this to OnePlus. They're probably fixing that in the next version. The skin tones are not entirely accurate. Sometimes you do see some boosted skin tones where it looks whiter. We do like the 3x portraits on the OnePlus 13 because it takes excellent photos with great edge cutout. And that's one of the reasons why we continue using this camera. It's really good. The zoom performance is also good, especially at longer range zoom and when the AI works well. So after 10x till up to say 100x, you actually do get AI to sort of enhance your images and recreate some parts of the image which it thinks is needed to be recreated. Apart from that, one major problem with this zoom camera, which is using the new W Tetra Prism technology, is the fact that you do not get close autofocus. So basically you do not get super telemacro, which is something that a lot of people are complaining about. In fact, I just saw a tweet the other day where somebody sold their OnePlus 13 purely because they didn't like this feature, which to some might seem a little extreme, but considering that's their own personal use case. I can imagine if they're not happy with that, they can very well go ahead and sell it. There was another problem that was highlighted because of this, and that is the fact that, in Chromium-based browsers, if you're doing an eKYC, then it uses the tele and the tele cannot focus, and because of that, you cannot do your KYC. That's a specific problem with Chromium browsers, and I think that the devs can fix it, because you should be able to shoot with the main camera. Ideally, you should be able to switch lenses, which is possible on Firefox, by the way. So if you're doing eKYC, use Firefox on the OnePlus 13. Alright, OxygenOS 15 is easily one of the best operating systems out there, but after having experienced One UI 7 on S25 Ultra, it's not my most favorite one. One UI 7 is my favorite. OxygenOS 15 would be my second favorite. Because One UI 7 has better AI features, OxygenOS 15 does ship with a few nice AI features. But more than the AI features, which I know that a lot of people don't care about, there are certain things that we noticed with OxygenOS 15 which can definitely be better. I noticed that the AppPix app, basically, which is their own market for apps, keeps sending you notifications to update your apps. I think that, OnePlus shouldn't be doing that on a flagship phone. One Play Store is enough. While AI Eraser is a cool feature, I noticed that it can only erase people and not their shadows from the image, which is fine, but it kind of feels unnatural when you look at it. By the way, the always on display is something that we use a lot, and there are a lot of ghost notifications that we notice on it. Now, if you want to use a global search on OxygenOS 15, which is something that I don't use often, but Tanish does, sometimes what happens is that it treats this global search as like a recent app, and therefore it puts it in the recent apps. So when you're multitasking, you can inadvertently sort of tap on it and open up global search when you don't want to. This is something you can switch off, by the way. It's a tiny little nitpick that we have. And there are some widget scaling problems that we noticed as well. This is something that a lot of people did mention with OxygenOS 15, which can definitely be fixed in future updates. But none of these are as big a problem as notifications from certain apps still popping up when Do Not Disturb is switched on in OnePlus 13. We noticed that with WhatsApp. Even if we have DND switched on, it will still keep sending notifications by overriding DND, which is kind of stupid, right? I've switched on DND. Don't do that. OnePlus, this is something that a lot of users have been mentioning, so I hope you guys can fix it. But apart from that, OxygenOS 15 is a proper A-grade flagship software experience, definitely better than FunTouchOS 15, and you also do get support for 4+6 years of software updates on the OnePlus 13, which is nice. So overall, if you look at it, 1 month later, our opinion hasn't changed much. The OnePlus 13 is easily OnePlus's best phone yet, by far. And to call it just the OnePlus 13 seems like doing disservice to the phone, because this genuinely feels like a OnePlus 13 Pro. And when you look at it, if I'm calling the OnePlus 13 a OnePlus 13 Pro, and if it's priced at 70,000 rupees and 65,000 rupees if you can get it with discounts, then the pricing is fantastic too. So the OnePlus 13 is easily the best value for money flagship phone out there in the market right now. That's my verdict on the phone 1 month later. OnePlus users, why don't you comment on your experience below so that anybody who's on the fence about buying the OnePlus 13 or not can make up their mind. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, keep tracking and stay safe.